Hello and welcome to BBTV's broadcast of our sixth lore stream. I'm your host, as always, Lichmaster98, joined with a lovely co-host of Calbrek. As we said in our announcement, we're coming at you from a disclosed location this evening. Uh,
Yes, I am coming to you from a disclosed studio location.
it's quite an interesting thing, and we're glad to have you back in a studio rather than joining us by secure laser link, as I'm sure many of our viewers would appreciate.
I am glad to once again not be fearing for my life, at least immediately.
I suppose fearing for your life is not a good thing, all things considered. With that, welcome one and all to Unrestricted Lorefare. If you've got no idea what's going on here, this is our monthly lore stream for recapping any of the fun lore created by our factions in regards to the faction turn. If you don't know what that is, well, the faction turn is a adaptation of the Stars Without Numbers faction turn system, which is generally run as a GM game, but instead we've turned it into a multiplayer game run on a Discord server. And if you're interested in joining in and finding more about the factions that are participating, you can see their different logos on the center screen scrolling by here now. And they join in, they submit orders every month, and I go through and process those on the spreadsheet, but today we get to explore the fun lore that's created for the world of Beacon Space uh, through the lens of a semi-IC and semi-OOC stream. IC being in character and OOC being out of character for anyone unfamiliar with those terms. Uh, if you're if you're new here, there's a link to join the Discord, and also there's a wiki that you can go look at to find out more about some of the factions. And I know a new user guide is in the works by a few of the members of our community who are putting together some of the changes to the mechanical side for the rules, as well as sort of an introduction to the world. And hopefully we'll be able to be able to present that in a more cohesive manner in the next couple of months. With that, Cal, you have any announcements for today's stream at the start here?
The only announcement that I have is that this stream is going to be awesome. We've had a lot of good submissions and some awesome wiki content that we're going to highlight. People have really started to expand upon their factions and their lore, and it's really exciting to see.
Yes, let's go ahead and jump right into things. Our first faction announcement today comes from the Aguamala Syndicate, and they've provided a lovely poster uh, regarding the first hunt of the Lepidus pagu. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. On behalf of their generous patrons and investors, the Aguamala Syndicate welcomes everyone to the launch of the first hunt of the Lepidus pagu. Pagu? Pagu. Go with Pagu. Its construction overseen by the Salcedo family on the behalf of the greater syndicate leadership, the fleet is the first to be developed using the new Gomes production facilities, recently brought online as a result of close ties between the syndicate and Gomes leadership. Included in the fleet's design are several novel systems, including a wing of semi-autonomous scouting drones designed to seek out difficult-to-detect targets in congested areas, like asteroid fields. The Lapides Pagu will be reporting in with updates as their hunt proceeds, so make sure you're signed up for the Syndicate News Alerts bulletins to ensure you're kept up to date on all the latest developments. I'm sure our Syndicate reporter will have already signed up, and hopefully they signed up using their own email this time rather than mine, as the nice field recorder loved to play a joke on me last time.
I will say that from a source within the syndicate, they have reassured me that the semi-autonomous scouting drones are for only hunting the Lapides Bagu at this time and won't be used on other more sentient targets as of yet.
As of yet, well, glad to keep that in mind for the near future.
Very reassuring.
Thanks to the Ogumala Syndicate for their reporting on their new fleet. And I've also been made aware by a few of our other correspondents that apparently We've been told their other strike fleets that were in orbit of Moss have apparently retreated for the idea of running out of tequila. That's that's what the report says. But sometimes the reporters are they're a little tipsy when writing these things.
I have a source that said the emergency rum ration was also depleted.
Oh boy, how unfortunate. Thank Alcohol Syndicate for their submission, along with their fun little twist. Uh, Lime twist, perhaps?
Where
Uh,
has the rum gone? Is my question.
with that, we'll move on right along to Children of the Vein, who have provided us with two updates. The first of which comes from our always popular and I think one of our most famous up and coming reporters of Chaz reporting on the Children of the Vein. So let's see what they've been up to on Tellus in the past month.
Hello, Beacon Space. This is your favorite reporter, Kaz Gusto Prime here with the latest. With a shockingly brief report today, but boy, is it action-packed. Of course, all the details, as ever, were verified by insider sources over the last few weeks of action. First, an update on BBTV anchor L. Kalbrek. Kalbrek's lawyers were able to negotiate a deal with the TELUS authorities to be under studio arrest until his trial date. But here's the catch. Due to a suspicious filing error, the trial date has been set to occur in 24.3 years from now. In the meantime, part of the studio is being renovated into an apartment and gym for Kalbrek's use. And now for the update on the conflict over Moss. With Children of the Veins, Arcby's deliverance in danger, Bishop Arbor hastily sent Bioshell Infantry Division Gospel and Strike Fleet Rites of Spring to remove threats from Moss. As soon as they arrived, however, Rites of Spring, fired a boarding pod with the Bioshell Infantry Division Gospel at the Syndicate Fleet, Lanza. Unfortunately for the Vein, Lanza was on high alert already from their previous engagement. When they saw Rites of Spring prepping their weapons, the Syndicate fleet sent out chaff flares to hinder the fleet's tracking and caused a number of the boarding pods to miss, namely all of them. Lanza then fired upon the infantry, killing a number of the troops in the counter fire. In an effort to recover the infantry, the Rites of Spring overexposed themselves to La Casa de Fieras attacks, causing more harm as the hunters of the Syndicate set the Vein bioships in their sights. However, instead of pressing the advantage against their wounded foe, the two strike fleets elected to leave the Gugrat Pact system instead of pressing their advantage. Inquiring for the reason of their disappearance, a Syndicate official stated, quote, "The two fleets ran out of mezcal, lime, and other supplies, so they flew home to restock." End quote. In the wake of these stunning military blunders, Bishop Elsie Arbor, who had been granted mandate of command over TELUS affairs in recent months by the Vein, was reportedly recalled back to Heliocytus by Vein leadership to, quote, "join with God," end quote. Speculation abounds on what the details of that entail. Back on TELUS, the Children of the Vein attempted to uncover more ruins. However, due to the sudden diversion of resources towards Moss by order of Bishop Arbor, their efforts seem to have borne little fruit recently. Meanwhile, the Vein continued its infrastructure expansion efforts across the planet. This quick takeover was facilitated by the New Eden Gene Bank, offering lucrative property deals in exchange for advanced gene therapy and medical philanthropy services, while reportedly supported accelerated terraforming initiatives in support of the TTGI. It would seem TELUS is almost assuredly in the Vein's clutches. What plan do they have for TELUS, and what kind of modifications can they drive TELUS most wealthy to sign over so much control so quickly? Tune in next time as I attempt to answer that precise question. And that concludes it for our sector report. Short, sweet, and to the point. It does seem like the sector is returning to a state of calm, but will this last? Or is this a sign of a storm to come? As always, tune in for the latest information with amazing accuracy. This is Chaz Gusto Prime, blipping out.
Thank you, Chaz, for the update from Hellas regarding the Children of the Veins actions. We thank you, as always, for your stunning reporting.
Chaz Gusto Prime, always bringing us the freshest news, even news that I did not want to be public, but I am coming to you from a disclosed studio location, and I am currently waiting for the work on my kitchen and gym to finish. Ironically, the architect is also called Jim, who is designing the gym. Not confusing at all. I am sure both will be fully functional.
Hopefully they're fully functional soon. It's been quite a fun time trying to get management to approve new budgetary expenditures. I do believe we have our Children of the Rain reporter that's stationed on Heliositis coming in with a second update from them. Perhaps we should check out what that is.
Brothers, sisters, and siblings in life under God, raise your heads up high. Wipe away your mournful tears and cast aside your despair. Rejoice, dance, sing, and celebrate. Our most benevolent Lord has accepted our tithes of blood and repaid us tenfold in burning wisdom. Forget not the holy precepts, children. Failure is the greatest gift. Through failure, we learn, we adapt, we grow stronger, and we excise terrible weakness. Let go of your woes and revel in God's teachings. Bishop Elsley Arbor. On this holy day, we rest the honor of these great failures on your shoulders and celebrate your life as a vessel for the wisdom and teachings of the one within us all. May you be with God forever.
A stunning report from our reporter on Heliositis. It is, of course, a good reminder that failure is not always the end of a project.
Were I not legally required to say otherwise, I would say how creaked out the Children of the Vein make me at nearly all times.
Yes, of course, those legal requirements are something, aren't they? With that, we'll take a brief detour into taking a look at some of the fun lore that has been placed up on the wiki over the past couple of days. Weeks is more accurate of a description, I suppose. Let's go ahead and get that open. Great. And I think we're going to be starting off with the planet of Idarast. Hopefully I've zoomed this in enough so that it is legible on screen.
Yes, the lore developers have been steadily producing in the background, and finally we get to see some of the fruits of the labor on screen. We've highlighted a few wiki articles today that we just want to take a look at and really praise the factions and everyone involved in developing them, because it really does flesh out our universe. They've added a lot of notable locations to their planet, along with describing the attributes. In particular, we wanted to highlight the Tombs of the Saints, one of the notable locations on this planet of the assembled Commonwealth.
Yeah, so the Tomb of Saints here seems to be a site regarding precursor activity that may have happened prior to the assembled Commonwealth's presence on the planet. It's quite an interesting, fascinating read, region on the planet that still appears to have some active exploration as to what all is in this region.
There is talk of precursor activity, groups of scientists that are in some kind of deal with the assembly. And if you want to know what all of those things are, you can explore the wiki article for yourself. And well done to the assembled Commonwealth for a fantastic fleshed out planet with lots of interesting locations.
Right, moving right along, our second shout out today goes to the Children of the Veins primary page, specifically their section on religion. It's been great to see them flesh out their history, and if you'd like to see where some of the inspiration behind their religion comes from a faction's history perspective, be sure to check that out.
I've already had an audio example of their religion on display on stream already. If you would like to know why they're saying the things that they're saying and how it came to be that way, take a look at Children of the Vein, who are also doing a fantastic job of developing their culture and how they are seen in the universe. Very well fleshed out, easy to imagine. It's an actual entity.
Absolutely, and it's great to see these aspects of the faction's faith and understanding of God come out in the presentations we're being able to see every month from them. And that's
Brings
because
a lot of flavor to the numbers on a spreadsheet, bringing it to life, making it very much more entertaining.
absolutely. And our final shout out this evening comes from the Starlit Court's government page. I know the Starlit Court is actively involved right now in developing a large portion of their lore that is slowly making its way onto the wiki. So we wanted to take the moment to recognize some of their government structure that's recently gone up.
Yep. A planetary highlight, a cultural highlight, and now a bureaucratic highlight. They've developed the structure of their understandably feudal government a lot. In particular, looking at the High King, uh, the how people have the authority to rule is interesting to me. And the High King with their divine mandate, but currently there is no High King. And it's interesting to see how that has affected the Starlight Court and will continue to do so.
Yes, it'll be very interesting to see how their lore continues to develop as well, and we can better understand the history of perhaps the previous High Kings that have come before, including he who has led us from destruction, and seeing how that pans out. Maybe next month we'll have an update on this story.
Yeah. And if any faction has a particular wiki page that they are particularly proud of and would like us to highlight on stream, feel free to hit one of us up and we can add it to the next time we do some wiki highlights.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to keep an active eye on the new pages that are going up, but understandably, wiki pages sometimes slip past us in reviewing all the changes that are made. So if you make some cool lore, and let's make sure we can shout it out and promote it in an equitable way to get people to know about the factions with a little bit better. With that, we have another news segment to return to. It's been There was an exciting announcement by the Starlit Court last month that they would be the chair of the TTGI, or Tellus Terra Group Initiative Board, this turn. And mechanically, they selected and confirmed the announcement they had made previously on the lore stream about the Transparency Act being put forward. As a brief reminder, because it's relevant to this segment, the Transparency Act itself will change the way the voting process for the TTGI works. And fictionally, this is represented as the record keepers and the publication details of the Telestera group, including the names of which factions representative voted on which way in a specific vote, or again leaving the current system as it is, where individuals' names are not included with the totals. We were able to get several of our reporters that are stationed on the TTGI orbiting platform that exists around Tellus to check in with a few of our past chairs and see what all their opinions were. So we'd like to throw it down to our reporter Eddie on the station to check in and see what all he was able to find out. That is assuming it actually starts playing.
A statement concerning the TT.
Excuse me, Professor? Professor? Excuse me, Professor Alexandrov, Professor, could you mind answering a quick question on behalf of the BBTV? Great. What are your thoughts on the Starlit Courts moving for greater transparency within the Tellus Terror Group Initiative Board? How do you think it's going to impact the Terror Group going forward?
The purpose of TTGI board members is to represent the interests of institutions. The insinuation that I, or any other member, have deceived people is preposterous. My responsibility is solely to the citizens of the assembled Commonwealth, and we have never kept our decisions secret. Simply no one has endeavoured to enter discussions before or after a vote. That missive accused every member, but the Starlit Court, of putting their own interests above that of the initiative. The accusations of deceit and cowardice in the council, while at the same time praising themselves for their nobility and valour, is an insult to all who sit on the council. The only reason it was written was to flaunt their own superiority over the rest of us.
Thanks for your answer, Professor Alexandrov. I've been Eddie Buchan, throwing it back to you, Kalbrek, in the studio.
Thank you very much, Eddie, for your fantastic reporting, as always, bringing to us the very latest news. I am impressed you managed to corner the professor. We do have, while we wait for you to get to your next subject, we have some comments from Jeklizello, Boston German Tidy Apple, a member of the Concord of Mutual Disdain, who has responded in a letter saying, to address the recent matters of the Tellus Terror Group initiative and the calls from the Starlit Court for transparency on the votes that take place there. On behalf of the harbingers of Concord, the Royal Lacuvia, and Moban Nakar, it was my personal duty to represent the Concord through our chairmanship of the Terror Group Initiative, and as such I have decided to respond personally to your declaration. I cannot help but take personal umbrage with the audacity of your claims. There is a certain thick irony in your chants of unification and harmony when it is you who have released divisive public accusations of the previous faction chairs of politicking and deception rather than resorting to direct diplomatic means. At no point has any issues with my time as chairman been presented through proper diplomatic channels, which have never been closed to the members of the Starlit Court. Indeed, the hypocrisy is paramount at your denunciation of playing politics, when this very declaration is inherently political move. Indeed, we have found these accusations and their delivery to be more divisive than the issue it claims to fix. It pains me that our recent interactions with the Starlit Court in supporting their presence when the discussion on exploration rights took place have been met with denouncement after our chairmanship. I am shocked that you did not have the courage and valor to approach us if you felt there was an issue to be resolved in the running of the Terror Group. Should the Starlit Court have future issues with our operations, we would hope that you would actually pursue unity and harmony and actually reach out to us in the future. Again, those words coming from Jekili Zilo, Boston German Tidy Apple, a member of the Concord of Mutual Disdain. And now I believe that even though we were unable to reach the representative from Ascent for comment, they have a prepared statement that they wish to broadcast.
Yes, that's of course Eddie was unable to get a live comment from the the Ascent folks, but they've kindly provided one to BBTV. Let's check in now.
The TTGI has access to some of
Was
the
there no audio?
brightest minds.
Okay, let's restart that then. Apologies. Let me double check it.
A statement concerning the TTGI from former chairholder Arfan Dada. This statement has been prepared in direct response to a reporter, who shall remain nameless, that wished for me to say something that they could convert into their next big scoop. Let me make myself perfectly clear. The move by the Starlit Court to bring about greater transparency within the board of the Tellus Terra Group initiative is welcomed on Icaros. In such endeavours, it is vital for all to see what has happened before, so that the next course of action can be appropriately pursued. The TTGI has access to some of the brightest minds in the sector, and shutting off information reduces the capacity for those bright minds to drive successfully forward. In Ascent, we embrace the known so that we can understand the unknown. When mistakes are made, they are scrutinized and examined, and they do not occur again. With transparency comes ownership and an impetus to improve. It opens the door to accountability, as well as allows meaningful comparisons through metrics. We welcome this move by the Starlit Court and look forward to the continued success of them and of the Tellus Terra Group initiative.
Thank you for Ascent for comments from Arfandada. Even though Eddie was unable to achieve them live, we appreciate the response in this form.
I'm sure Eddie will get them next time.
Let's hope so. And we do apologize for the technical issues with that audio that occurred. Hopefully the goblins that help control the mixer and the soundboard will have sorted that out for our next stream.
The construction on my combined gym and kitchen are causing some issues as well.
Yes, I've been told perhaps we should invest in RTX voice on to prevent background noises from seeping into our stream. Uh, some company seems to be producing that software. Anyway, moving right along in our Transparency Act. Kel, do you have any additional reporting to add on this topic?
Yes, financial news in response to the Transparency Act. Hedge funds and investors across the sector mass shorted the Tellus Terra Group initiative, believing it to be on the downfall. However, reports and the addition of members of the board has led to citizenry believing that the stock of TTGI is in fact valuable and have mass purchased, causing what we call a short squeeze. We will see if the hedge funds or the citizenry of Tellus will come out ahead in this financial crisis. The updates will keep coming throughout the day as we get more information. This is a story that you do not want to miss.
Absolutely not. And right along those lines, we've been informed that a traditional ceremony as well for the TCGI has taken place, involving the company charter being sent off to one of its moons. Onlookers reportedly had a lower turnout than was expected due to several physical distancing measures that were implemented to protect individuals from increased solar activity. Only time will tell if the event will return to its full glory next year.
I always enjoy watching the Tellus Terra Group initiative charter going to the moon.
with that, I believe that wraps up all of the lovely lore we've been submitted for this turn. Slightly shorter stream than last month, but that does tend to be the way these lore streams work, where we are variable length depending on what all lore that gets submitted. But there was no shortage of good quality content to this stream.
Thank
Carl, do
you
you have
to
any
everyone who
additional?
submitted. Yeah, thank you to everyone who submitted. Thank you to the people who produced content for the wiki, as well as sending stuff in for us to broadcast. It's always a pleasure to be able to do this and highlight the hard work of you in the community.
Absolutely, and we look forward to returning next month for the next lore stream. Before we get to the next lore stream, though, there is another faction turn. Faction turn 6, I believe, comes up on March 6th. Tentatively scheduled to stream at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will be 6 p.m. UTC. For the next faction turn stream. So any faction turn ups or faction members that are around, please be aware of the deadlines that are associated with that, so that everything gets submitted on time, and we have a wonderful next stream to see what happens in the world of the mechanics of Beacon Space. And join us a month from now, tentatively scheduled for March 20th. At around the same time, sometime in the afternoon. Exact time is TBD. For the lore stream number 7, where we'll be looking forward for any additional lore that's been created over the next month, articles that have gone up on the wiki, and to see what fun things that are created by you, the community. Did I miss any announcements there, Hellbrook, that you're aware of?
I believe that is all that we have for this month.
Sounds wonderful. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll leave you with some new music as we send the stream on its end. Thanks for tuning out. Again, if you are new and want to learn more, you can join the Unrestricted Lorefare Discord to investigate the world of Beacon Space further, and check out the wiki for the articles we previewed today, as well as plenty of other fun content. Thanks for joining, everyone. I've
Thank
been
you.
Lichmaster98.
I've been Lucas Galbraith.
Thanks for joining us this evening, and we will see you next month. Now I think it's time for us to blip on out of here. Bye.